My new PC is a Dell XPS 8900 desktop PC. Now basically the specs inside this thing are a complete beast. It has an i7 6700K, 16 gigabytes of RAM, Windows 10 Pro, a 1.6 terabyte hard drive. Everything seems so fine on paper, except the graphics card. You see, the graphics card that originally came in the PC was a GTX 745 graphics card, which had 4 gigabytes of GDDR3 RAM, and I basically had a GTX 750 Ti for the Win Edition laying around, which I bought, and I was actually going to make a video on it all for its own, but because the old PC I put it in completely broke, I took out the old graphics card to see if it would work on my brand new PC, and it did. Now I have some results from the old graphics card and the new graphics card. Mainly for Battlefield 1 and other games. So yeah, so I'm gonna basically show you the benchmarks. Now before I show you the benchmarks, keep in mind I don't have the frames per second because Fraps decided to just crap out on me because I didn't have the right drivers for Fraps, but I'm gonna show you what it was like for me to put in my graphics card in my new PC, and then I will show you how the games ran on the GTX 750 Ti for the Win Edition. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So this is the old graphics card, the GTX 745. This card is pretty decent for what it is. Sure, you can get a couple frames per second in big budget games such as Fallout 4 and Battlefield 1 if you put the settings low enough, but I already have a better GPU, which is the GTX 750 Ti for the Win Edition with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM. So once I switched out the card and put in the GTX 750 Ti, I decided to load up Windows and install a bunch of games that I can test out. But I was very lazy and forgot to install Fraps, and I got a bunch of gameplay with the new graphics card. So I'm very sorry that the gameplay doesn't have the amount of frames each game is getting, but it can give you a rough estimate of how the card is going to perform with the setup I have. Now I have an i7, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it's the new generation i7, so it's expected to run pretty well for most of these games. So because my PC specs other than the graphics card are basically maxed out right now, it can show you like how the graphics card will go at its full potential, knowing that I put in 16 gigabytes of RAM, because when I was using this card with 4 gigabytes of RAM and the very first gen i7, the card wasn't performing really well. But now that I have better specs for my PC, I can record my games better without having to go out and get myself an external capture card, all at 1080p 60 FPS. So yeah, I basically hope you guys enjoy the benchmarks, and I'll get back to you when the benchmarks are over.
Turn me down just a little, my voice down just a little, four. Yeah. Turn me down just a little, my voice down just a little, four. Yeah. Turn me down just a little, my voice down just a little, four. Yeah.
Now the card actually performed very well in some of my games. Battlefield 1 especially surprised me. I was able to put the resolution scaling a little bit down, and after I did that I was literally getting like 30 FPS, but it was like very smooth, and it was all on ultra settings at 1080p, which was something that the GTX 745 was not able to do. And even though the GTX 745 actually had 4GB of RAM, and the card I inserted into the PC has 2GB of RAM, the 2GB of RAM is actually faster than the 4GB, because the 4GB of RAM actually has GDDR3, and the 2GB of RAM has GDDR5, which basically means that the RAM is basically going to be faster inside the graphics card, and it's gonna basically let the game use more resources, resulting in better performance. The best part about this card is that I was able to get it for a super cheap price and still have better performance than some of Nvidia's new cards that they're selling for similar prices. For example, the GT 730 wouldn't even come close to the 750 Ti in terms of performance. The GT 730, I wouldn't even get anywhere between 20 and 10 FPS on Counter-Strike Go with high settings. There are many worse graphics cards that you can pick up for the same exact price. I picked this amazing graphics card for used on eBay, and that's another thing. There's a lot of graphics cards that you can get used on eBay, and a lot of people say that used graphics cards are not going to last that long. Well, if you actually take care of them and you basically just put them in your PC without any worry, then most of the time it's going to work. And even if it's broken, you're going to be able to fix it if you have the right tools and you know what you're doing. All in all, this is one of the best graphics cards you can get for the money if you can find it used. Now, I don't know about brand new, but I heard it can retail from $130 all the way up to $180, which I think is kind of a ripoff, because you can get the 1050 Ti for the same price as this card when it came out new. But the fact of the matter is that this graphics card is one of the best graphics cards you can pick up for under $80, $70 if you're lucky. So I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. It took me a little bit extra time to make this video, but hopefully all of you guys enjoyed the video. And if you liked the video, hit the like button and just subscribe to the channel if you like the content that you're seeing at the end card. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope to see you guys soon. Have a blessed day and peace out.